keep educating yourself. Key 2023. So the start of the year 2023 is a good happy new year for all the hospitality academicians and doing a great job. I'd like to extend my thanks to Dr. Vilas Sakpal, your Honorable Vice Chancellor. On the opening day, he was there, and then I'd like to extend my thanks to Dr. Sandeep Tapkir. He is trying his best to keep up the hospitality education, and he is contributing a lot toward this sector. It's not about only MGM University, but I have been seeing him visible in lot many activities which relates to uh, basically development and propaganda of this hospitality education. Rupesh, I'd like to extend thanks to you for lovely presentation about myself and Vidisha, who had been coordinating so long with me. And today's my next speaker, Dr. Sala Vijay Kumar. If he's there, I'd like to extend my regards to him also. I hope Dr. Sala have joined us as Vijay Kumar. Have he joined us? Not now, like.
Not yet, sir.
Okay. So now let's start the session because it's an interesting topic, NEP 2020 and hospitality education. Now the topic of the day, and yes, this topic very much goes well with the FDP because this is the talk of the town nowadays, NEP, and how it is going to be implemented for hospitality education. Lot many ifs and buts are there. Still the clarity for higher education, actually it is not there. For schoolings, the things are getting clear day by day. But yes, it is very much in fancy phase. So I'll try my best to explain it, what it is all about and how it is going to, what it would be its implication on our sector, especially our hospitality education sector. I'll not be talking about industry as much, but how it is going to impact us what would be the opportunities, what are the threats, everything I'll be discussing on this. Now, before going for NEP and hospitality education, I'd like to have a small introduction regarding our travel and tourism market. This hospitality education is part and parcel of tourism. Without that, tourism can never be successful, because when you go for any tourism, you require proper accommodation and food, and this is the hospitality sector which helps us. So now it offers a diverse portfolio of niche tourism products like cruises, adventure, medical, lot many things that's mentioned in my slide. And we have been recognized very well these days for spiritual tourism and medical tourism. These are the two things now India is looked upon very much by the Western countries. The WTTC Economic Impact Survey was done recently, and in the year 2019, and wherein the GDP contribution, which grew by 4.9%. This is, I am talking about India's GDP contribution, tourism and travel contribution, and which was the third highest. And China and Philippines were the leaders. Additionally, the report highlighted something that we witnessed the growth in number of jobs, that was 6.36 million. But for the China, it was lower than us 5.47, and Philippines, it was 2.53. So in terms of job, we were the leaders in that. And in 2021, the travel and tourism sector in India contributed around 5.8% of our GDP. So we can see in 2019, it was 4.9%. In 21, it was 5.8%. But that year was very much impacted by the corona pandemic, that COVID. So still you can see 5.8% was the addition to our GDP by tourism. So it was around 13 billion Indian rupees and 44% increase by the previous year. Obviously 2020 was much more impacted. The lockdown was severe. So the percentage, if you'll compare, it would be higher. from the previous year. Now, the career prospects in our travel and tourism sector, that is why we are here, why we are providing hospitality education. It is something related to providing manpower to our sector. And in India, the industry's direct contribution to the GDP is expected to record an annual growth rate of 10.35%, which is very much positive and appreciable. And this is between 19 to 2028. It might come down a little because of this last 2020-2021, what we have seen. But still in 2020, the Indian tourism sector accounted for 31.8 million jobs, which was 7.3% of the total employment in the country. So this is again a figure which motivates us. By 29, it is expected to account for about 53 million jobs in our travel and tourism sector, which will include our hospitality sector also. Now, coming to NEP 2020 now. This is just, it was an introduction to, but basically I wanted to set the tone of the session that how our hospitality industry is expected to boom, and when this NEP 2020 is coming, how we need to be prepared. Just a gist I'd like to know, NEP 2020, basically why it has been designed. There are two things. One, we wanted to match ourselves with the global education, because when you'll go to developed countries, whatever has been suggested in NEP, it has been almost copied from there only. They are trying to make it like them. We have not basically changed since independence. So this is the first time the real educational change is going to happen. There was a national education policy in 1968 to create more and more skilled jobs and like that, but it was not, it was now for us, for today, in 2023, when we see, we look it as an old school of thought or orthodox educational system or whatever it is. So you'll see in my slide, I have mentioned Generation Z. Generation Z is those students who were born after 1996 until 2012. This is the Generation Z who are now our students, because the boys who have born in 1997, they are almost now 24, 25 years old. And those who have been born in 2000, they are almost 22 years old. So these are the students now who are there in the market, whom we always talk about, how we used to be there, how the education jaisa hum logo ko mila, what where we have got, or the way we have approached towards the career. It is very difficult for today's student to be molded, and we find a lot of attrition in our industry due to that, or we find that many students join our hotel management course, but they might not be joining our hotel industry because the dynamics have changed. This generation is totally different than what our generation was. So for the teachers, when we are talking in FDP, it is very much important and very much imperative to understand that who is our client, whom we are going to cater. So NEP 2020 is designed for that only. It is basically the revision and revamping of all aspects of education, including our structure. Like earlier, we used to teach many ancillary subjects. Like, for example, I am in IHM fraternity. Every year we take exam of around 7 to 8 subjects, wherein only 4 subjects are the core subjects, and then we have all ancillary subjects, and might be those subjects are no more of utility for the students. It might have been when this course started important for our generation or generations who are senior than us, but post that millennial and after this Generation Z, it is going to be very much different. It might not be of any use teaching those subjects which we are teaching till date. So the dynamics have changed. Things have, new subjects have to be taught. I have recently seen few of the universities, they are trying to change their syllabus, and totally new subjects have been implemented. They are talking about environment science, something related to real life things, physical education. Lot many things they've been joined in hotel management subject. Physical education we would have never thought of teaching a hotel management student. Like when you talk about myself, I very much give importance to physical education, and I am very much involved with the students that only studying and studying is not the solution. You need to be physically fit to face the industry. So that's how this physical education in sports becomes important for our course. So according to the policy, by 2025, at least 50% of learners through the school and higher education system shall have exposure to vocational education. We are not the part of the school. We are not the part of the higher education system I am talking about. Post this higher education system, we are the higher educational institutions who will get this type of students who already have an exposure for some other vocation at the initial phase, at the formation phase of their secondary level education. We might see before this NEP also, there were courses in 11th, 12th, 9th, 10th implemented by CBSE, where we have courses which related to fine arts, which were related to hotel management. They have been taught, but it was not a part of NEP. Now when the NEP comes in, and what we are talking about post class 8, the student will have the choice, the exposure to select a vocational subject rather than studying those what we say generic subjects, science, arts, commerce, like that way. So things are going to change, and our students who will come to us would be more smarter than what we used to get earlier. Now these are the timelines for implementation of NEP 2020. When we are talking about 2021-22, it was just formulation of national curriculum framework for school education. And when we talk about 22-23, we have a common guiding set of national professional standards. Teachers prepared for a transformation in the assessment system. The teachers are getting prepared, especially for the school education. Till now, as Sandeep sir has nicely taught NEP and hospitality education, but on the same ground, it has not been thought by the stakeholders to get ready for the teachers to teach this future NEP prepared students. So we need to train our teachers also. Now then, after that, you are not seeing anything important in 23-24, 24-25. But when it comes 2025, it'll see that state and union territory governments need to optimize their resources through mechanism to group or rationalize schools. At least 50% of the learners, as I told you, will be exposed to the vocational education in the school. Attaining universal foundational literacy and numeracy in all primary schools for learners by grade 3. So this 2025, the things will start getting its shape. They will start focusing from 2025, importantly, from the primary education and developing the resources to match up with this NEP. So they are taking this buffer 2 years to get themselves ready. And by 29-30, you can see that universal provisioning of quality early childhood development care, teacher education will be gradually moved into multidisciplinary college. That I'll explain you when it'll come on other slides, that how this multidisciplinary things is going to bring the change. And by 2040, policy is fully operational. Following this, a comprehensive review will be undertaken. So they have taken 20 years timeline for implementation of this NEP 2020. It's not that it is going to be 100% implemented and full-fledged this year only. So first thing is that the market is worried about, we are confused about, we need not be panicked about the situation. Now, what is new? As already in the prior slides also, I have discussed with you all, there will be, the beginning will be with the vocational exposure at the early ages. in the school at the secondary level, and in the primary levels they will more focus on the languages and the mother language, official language, whatever it is. They are not going to focus more on teaching every subject as we find it from class 1 onwards. So it is going to change from there. So the NEP will be implemented from there. What happened last year, what I saw, the moment NEP 2020 was announced, many schools were confused, and at every class they started changing their syllabus, changing their books, and then after 1 month they realized the mistake, and then again they have to go back to the old system, because NEP has to be implemented from the root level. Once the branches are there, once the time is there for the fruits to grow, you cannot implement something new there. It has to be from the roots. So one thing is that it is going to be implemented from the school level, and then it is going to come to us. This would lead to emphasizing the dignity of labor, because our kids nowadays don't understand the dignity of labor. For them, many jobs are very petty. They don't like to do it. They are reluctant. They find that their dignity or their ego has been hampered. So that would start from there. And by 2025, at least 50% of the learners, I am repeating this, that will have exposure to vocational education. With there would be lot many different models, because we are in the experimental phase. So we are going to experiment this in these 2-3 years. There would be lot many experiments, lot many changes, lot many backfooting will happen. So lot many things will happen. Bachelor programs offered by higher educational institutions will be expanded. There would be a credit-based framework now. Actually, credits were there. We used to see in our degrees, the percentage of marks was also mentioned, the credits were also mentioned. And earlier also there was a rule that minimum so many credits are required to be eligible to get the degree. So credits were there, but that credit-based framework was actually not integrated with each and every courses which were being taught in our country. Like what happens when I have earned certain credit at a degree level education, there would be acceptability in other courses for few of the subjects and their credits. So you would not be required to again redo the things. You will get lateral entry at the second year or third year level, like that way, if you have that acceptable credits you have under this new framework. Like might be I have earned say around after 2 years 100 credits, for example. But it's not that all these 100 credits from hotel management when I am moving to engineering may be considered, but there would be subjects which would be taught in hospitality education also and would be taught in the engineering also. So those credits, when we are taking it, might be some of our core subjects also may be considered. There would be long list of subjects. So those credits will be considered. So you need not clear that many credits, because you will get an exemption for that, and then the rest of the credits you will have to earn to get that particular degree. Similarly, when an engineering graduate, like what we face many a time, the students who have done diploma in engineering, they are interested to do hotel management. The reason being, the percentage of placement ratio is far better in hotel management than any engineering or MBA related business administration related courses. So then they want to do a hotel management, their eligibility is always confusing, because for hotel management degree you need a 10+2 student or a intermediate pass student. So their credit, if can be counted, they might get directly admission in second year also in hotel management. So they may save 1 year. So these things, when we are planning, I'm talking to all the teachers, all the stakeholders who are listening to me right now. You need not run on everything. You need to first understand that this is a credit-based framework. When you are designing a syllabus, you have to have the syllabus in such a mode that the student have that gateway to move laterally, or you have the gateway to take the students who are trying to move laterally to your course also. The gate should have to be like that way. We should not just do what NEP 2020 I have. There would be in breaks that first year exit, second year exit, third year, whatever it is. So just design the syllabus like that way and go ahead. Sorry. Then again, we are in that old system before NEP 2020. We have not really decoded what NEP 2020 is. National Higher Education Qualifications Framework, NHEQF. It's very much similar to our NSQF, National Skills Quality Framework, will be formulated by General Education Council, and that will be synced with this NSQF. And the National Committee for Integration of Vocational Education, NCIV, consisting of experts in vocational education from our field, from engineering, from medical, from mass communication, XYZ, whatever, and representing representatives across ministries in collaboration with industry would be formed to make this a real story. I hope I am not going fast.
No, sir.
Mr. Rupesh? Okay.
You are perfect, sir.
Okay.
Please
now,
carry on.
Yes.
Actually, it was really good to know about this vocational education policy. And one more thing that you told, designing the syllabus is also a very important part nowadays, because credits need to be accumulated from the different backgrounds as well.
Right. So that's what this was very much important, because still people are confused about NEP. There is a lot of confusion in the market. Still people are not clear. Just they have read it in newspaper and everybody is taking a call. Now there is this is the twist which everybody knows now, that there is an exit policy which will be part of this NEP. So we are all running behind that, and we are not basically studying the 100% draft policy what we have in this. So we have in the first year, when a student want to exit, we have craftsmanship certificate or diploma course, whatever. The decision is still under process. It's too early for me to say that how people are going to provide this certificate, how people are going to take a call over it. Then you either you exit or continue, or you change the course. It's your choice. Then in the second year, you have the diploma or advanced diploma. Again, it is a matter of call. It would be the committees who are going to work on it. Either you exit after second year, either you continue or change. Then in the third year, there would be, this is on the part of IHM I am talking about right now. It is very much difficult. Every university might look to this very differently. This is the third year. You might get a BSc degree, or you might get a normal bachelor degree without honors. It will be varying from university to university, might be, but actually national education policy talks about unified call between center and state. So it is expected that right now, how it is very much, the diversity is too much from state to state. You will find there are not many different approach by central university and state university. But in NEP, we might need to integrate together. We might need to think on the same line. So let's see what comes out of it, BSc degree or bachelor degree without honors. And when you continue after completing certain credits, you go to the fourth year, and fourth year, then you will have the bachelor's in hotel management, which is one thing. When it will be integrated throughout, it would be a single window for the IHMs and other AICT approved colleges. Then the beauty of this course would be very much visible, and the course would have a good catch in the market. Right now, there is a confusion. Students are confused. 4-year degree में क्या importance है, 3-year degree IHM भी दे रहा है, क्या फर्क है? So this type of differences might go away, and we will have a good pool of students who would understand from the very beginning, when they start from their formative phase in their secondary level education, they would be able to understand about our course or something like that way, and things are going to help us. Okay, Sala sir has message. Okay. Now, coming to the implications, I am talking about in terms of our hospitality education, because this is one thing stakeholders are, especially the decision makers, are very much interested to know what will happen in this NEP, wherein credit based framework would be there, and there will be always a window to fly away, because already we are facing the challenges in admissions, we are already facing the challenges of dropouts. So this is going to be one thing we need to understand. Opportunities, when we are talking about, our education is all has always been a skill based education. So this general educations, BSc in arts, BSc in commerce, BSc in science, might go away. If they will go away, these students will have to make a choice of a vocational education, skill based education, because NEP talks about that only, that changing the education system to a point wherein it is creating employment, education for employability would be there. So generic degree courses were actually, now they are not meant for employability in actual terms. People do get jobs because through UPSC, State Selection Commission exams, banking exams, but the figure is not very high. So the unemployment ratio is going high every year, year on year, because the population rise is equally going fast. So our hospitality education, which is always have been a skill-based system, and our major part of knowledge is skill ratio. So in such technical skill-based programs, NEP can induce the concept of hospitality management in a result-oriented manner. So this is one thing which the visibility of an opportunity, a positive vision is there, and there would be reduction in the syllabus. How there would be a reduction in the syllabus, with a thrust on experimental learning and critical thinking. So right now, as already I told, that we are teaching too much, which is not required or might be outdated. So NEP will bring down that number of subjects might be, and or the length of syllabus might get reduced. Let's see what happens. The hitch, where is the hitch? The education system in India is a concurrent subject. It's always a part of our discussion. The center and the state government have the rights to modify the laws on it, but these changes can only be implemented collaboratively, as I told you earlier also. The government has set it to 2020 40, as I have presented in the timeline, as the target to implement the entire policy. And to do so, we need a huge funding, which is very much essential to make this a real story. And it would be really a tough time for private hospitality educations, because already they are suffering a lot. So this is going to be a tough time for them, especially. So just a line, this has nothing to do with me, that you cannot afford to be invisible in this dynamic world. So implications continued here. Opportunities for institutions. This is a desirable option for us. It aims to address many of the existing hiccups. Institutions can also look forward to merging different types of branch courses. Like these days, in IHM only, if we see, we have 5 types of diploma, we have postgraduate diploma, we have craftsmanship certificate courses. If I count all, there might be 10 to 11 ancillary courses, and we have one BSc in HA. So now, similarly, for private hospitality institutes also, other than the degree, they are also running different types of various module courses to for their clients as per the demand of the market. So this policy will help us to merge all the different types of branches, and it will really help in substantial cost reduction, because in educational institution, and especially hospitality education, the infrastructure cost and running cost is much higher than any other courses which we have in the current scenario. Further, it can be linked with global education pattern. As I already told you, if you go to developed countries, already this system has been there since years. We were still in the 60s, 70s. Now coming to the students, for them opportunity, there are many students who have either done their diploma, 3 years diploma from IHM, or they have done 1 year diploma, or lot many different types of diplomas, and they are working in the industry. Now they are looking for the higher education degree or something like that way. So this is going to help them to enhance their certification and enhance their education, and like that way. So it is going to open a good opportunity for them. And where is the real threat? As I told you, it is going to open a box of Pandora, wherein students have numerous and optimal career options. What will happen? A student, as a teacher, we face every year, or as an institute, we face every year. Students join us, they are very much not aware of what hospitality education is. They say that hotel management करने हैं, manager बनेंगे. First year they do the course and उनका सपने टूट जाते हैं, and they drop out from the course now. Or the fear of losing the money, they might continue the course and they might complete, and you get the fee for all the 3 years or 4 years. But what will happen here? A student who is always confused. This year I'll do hotel management, second year I'll jump to the engineering, third year engineering पसंद नहीं आया, business administration में चला जाऊंगा, end of day मैं करके क्या निकलूंगा मुझे भी नहीं पता. So this is going to start, this might create a confusion in the market, especially for those confused lots. So what will happen? Already we are facing the manpower crunch in hospitality industry post-COVID. So this may lead to further downfall in manpower availability. So this is one thing which we all need to take a call collectively, so that the collectively, I mean all the educational institutions related to hospitality education and the industry, because industry need to wake up now. They are still thinking that it's an easy ride. It's an easy ride. They will do away with anything and everything. Once this NEP is in full-fledged form in our educational system, then this industry will have a real tough time. So this need to be think, and this is the real threat which we need to work on if we want these opportunities which are visible to us to really work well for us. Just a brief about our hospitality industry. It is one of the largest profit generating industry, and especially for progressive countries like us, wherein the investment or the running cost is lower than what we get in return in terms of room rents and other selling items. Due to the pandemic, this industry today has shifted towards services and products that are technologically interfaced with artificial intelligence. So this is one thing. This is the question. We need to have the answer ready in our mind, that how we are going to face this, because this is one thing as an academician, as a teacher, as a professor, we all need to work on, because artificial intelligence have to be inculcated in our course, in our syllabus, to match up with the change what we are seeing in the industry right now. This old style of teaching, old style of skill development may create entry-level jobs, but may not be able to create the managerial level jobs, and we will be facing a problem. There would be a downfall in the number of students and all this thing. Now, curriculum and hospitality industry needs in India. There is a gap. There is a challenge. So as I told you, the integration is required in this education framework, new education framework, when we work together, even AICT or UGC or NCHMCT, whosoever. The industry integration is very much important here. Managerial competencies versus operational competencies, as I told you, we may be doing whatever what we are doing these days is operational competencies. We are not talking about managerial competencies. So we need to work over that, because these days lot many placement opportunities are coming which require managerial competencies in the students. They get such type of situations during their interviews to either prepare presentations or to answer that how they are going to manage this thing. You'll find these days all management trainees hirings, like if IHG is coming to a campus or any other big brand, they give such situations, they give you time to make a project or make a presentation and come out with the solution to it. So the operational competencies are not going to help our students to basically solve this, and we need to include these things in our syllabus. The current status of Indian hospitality education leaves a lot to be desired in context of training manpower. Our curriculum do not provide much of current information on the industry trends. We don't prepare students adequately for the employment in the sector. There is always a new trend or new technology or new concept which is included in our hospitality sector, or a new brand coming in with a new concept, and our students are still living in the ages, I'll say stone age or whatever you say for that. So we need to have equilibrium between curriculum and the need. Until we have that balance, it is not going to resolve the issue post this NEP 2020. For the teaching methods, this is for my teachers who are attending the FDP. You need to consider the current scenario of the market. Please explore what are the changes that has happened, what are the implications, what are the ways we need to change, or what are the pedagogy we need to start practicing. गया वो जमाना कि हम नोट्स लिखवाकर बच्चों से रटवाकर एग्जाम दिलवा लें. Frankly speaking, this is a request to all the teachers. भूल जाओ. नोट्स लिखवाना, रटुफाई करना, एग्जाम में पास कराना, प्लीज भूल जाओ. बच्चे तैयार नहीं होंगे. This is just you are completing the syllabus. You are not preparing. You are not building a future professional for the industry. The practical case studies, industry visits, research projects, innovative ideas, these are all important. I give you an example. When I used to teach interior decoration, I have been a teacher of food production, I have been a teacher of housekeeping, I have been a teacher of F&B service. All these three subjects, front office, I have not got an opportunity to teach. I have taught accounts, I have taught hotel engineering, lot many subjects. So when I used to teach interior decoration in housekeeping, the very first day when I go, I just used to give the syllabus to the students and I used to say them the syllabus is over. So sir, what will we do throughout the semester? So then the teaching starts. What will we do throughout the semester? It was, I wanted them to learn practically, not through the books. I used to send them to the market for each and every topic to understand, to learn. Because interior decoration is not something which you can teach from the books. You cannot teach from the notes. It is an art. And you need to be innovative. And until and unless I open your parachutes, the parachutes in your brain, you will not be able to understand. So you will ratify all the things we have in syllabus and you will give the exams, might be you will pass. But in real life, you are 0 by 100 in terms of interior decoration. You might join in a housekeeping. You might become an executive housekeeper one day, but you don't have the knowledge of ABCD related to interior decoration. So this is a small example. The same thing goes for each and every subject, each and every part of unit we are talking about. So the knowledge of the students and their development, we need to understand and appreciate their diversity. This is also we are lacking. We need to create effective learning environment. because we need to change from that. Gone are the days when we just either we used to dictate or thoda sa technology hai, so we started presenting it on PPT and expecting the students to note it down from the PPT. And teachers also I face. I used to attend many conferences, seminar. People come with the PPT, they read for us, and they say that my paper is presentation is complete. Thank you. They don't discuss about their ideas. They don't discuss about their finding. Whatever they have written, they put it down in black and white on the PowerPoint presentation and they read across throughout the presentation. There is no talk about the topic. There is no talk about what has been mentioned in the slides. So therein, we are basically doing injustice, and any injustice is an injustice, even if it is legally right. So uses ongoing assessment to monitor student learning. That is one thing which might be many have started practicing is a regular assessment is very much important. It helps us to know where our student is, and it helps us to basically make the students also to keep themselves updated with what we are teaching, and we need to develop the professional practices. Now, arenas of curriculum changes, as we have already discussed, but still there are two ways. There is a generic teaching, there is a skill-based teaching. Choice is yours, which one you will go for. The old school practical style or trends and practices, how you are going to do it. Just for example, generic teaching means completing whatever it is we have been taught by our teachers. Either we remember it or we collect the notes and then we deliver it right down to our student. This is the generic teaching. Skill-based teaching is what we have learned. That means a teacher need to go to the industry also to have that industry exposure before becoming a teacher. Learning the skills in the industry by working, coming back to the institute, delivering the skill-based teaching back to them, the students. So skill is by doing it. Skill is not by I am standing in the practical class, I am taking a food production class, I am sitting on the chair, I am telling now add oil, now add salt, now add red chili, and the students are doing it by my instructions, what they will learn. Skill-based teaching is doing with the students, making them do it, making them learn it. What happens now? We have lot of long listed menu and we expect them within 4 hours to learn everything from the starter to the dessert. This is the wrong approach. This is the old school practical process. If we are talking about that, I want you to learn starters, we should continually teach them starters first. First, let them master it or at least good jack of that. Then move to the next course. Then what will happen? Now we will have a long list of 7 types of dishes. It's a part of syllabus. As a principal, I am also not able to come out of it. But we expect them to learn each and everything. So what happens? एक स्टूडेंट आज सूप सीख कर गया है, दूसरा स्टूडेंट मेन कोर्स सीख के गया, तीसरा स्टूडेंट डेजर्ट सीख के गया है. End of the day, all these 3 students are not at the same pace. One is good at this, might be good at soup, one is might be good at main course, one is might good at dessert, but they have not learned. And might be this out of these 3 students, there was one 4th student also who was not interested in food production at all. But we want him to work in the food production for 4 hours. We want him to learn it. We want him to practice it. And we want him to be the master of that. Is it possible? We are talking about live with the passion. And when it comes to teaching, we expect all the 100 of students which we take in intake to learn each and everything. But when it comes to the job, they select any one of the departments, either food production, front office, housekeeping, service. So what we are doing, we are not doing the real justice to them. Yes, exposure is required for all the 4 departments. That can be taught in basically first semester, second semester. Why we need to keep on doing it with the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th semester? What we are doing? We are not doing the justice. Yes, Dr. Sandeep, when we interacted before the presentation only, 4 year and 3 year, 4 year we have that option of sending the student for industrial exposure 2 times. First time we can send them to have an exposure in all the 4 departments. When the second time he or she is going, he must get an exposure in the department which he or she is electing to make his or her career in. That should be the process.
Specialized area.
Yeah, the specialized area. So that is going to add value to them when they join the industry. So the recommendations from my side: integration of industry with the institution, regular changes in the curriculum, and obviously, as I told you, NEP 2020, we are going to experiment a lot. So we might need to change the syllabus every 2 years for coming 5 to 6 years. Then only we will be able to settle down at the right place. Defining the new education policy, we need to expect what would be the outcome after every semester. As throughout my presentation, I've been talking about this only, that we need to have any specification ki kya banana chahte hain after completing the course. What do you expect from the student to become? This is not defined. The outcome for our education system is never been designed. We always just think of this is right, we do it, but we never write what we expect it to be once the student complete what we expect them to be. There is no properly defined mechanism. Introduction of a specialization in the real sense, as we discussed just few seconds earlier. On-job training and industry-based projects are required. If you go to IIMs and all these places, there are not many industry-based projects they do. The similar thing need to be included in our hospitality education. This will help the industry also. When we do industry projects, recommendations after doing the research help the industry also to implement certain things which may improve their profit ratios. I remember one of my students lot many years back when he had joined as a management trainee of IIG. So the initial phases, they never wanted him to work in the main department. They gave him certain type of research projects and all this thing. So there was one project for him that the cab services which they provide to the staff. So the number of cabs and the number of employees to be dropped, it was not matching. So wait period was going high. So already working for 10 hours or so, the staff waiting for an hour or two was getting exhausted and was getting late to go home, again coming back to the duty. So he has to work on where were the lacunas, where were the gaps, and after the research, a very well designed module come out from a student only. He was just doing a management training in his first year after completing the course, and the number of required caps also came down, and the wait period was reduced to only 20 minutes from an hour or two. So this type of real-time research, because the industry don't have time. Our students, when they get to industry, they learn also the small integrators, and this helps back to the industry. So it's a give back to them. So this is how we need to understand about when we are talking about NEP 2020, that what are the changes we at least should start from the day one. And as soon as possible, we get the support of the decision makers, the policy makers, that is going to help us to implement. So the NEP 20, to conclude, the NEP 2020 in the current scenario, there is a need of our educational and administrative reforms in hospitality education. We need the upgradation and adaptation of new technologies. IHMs and other institutes cannot attract qualified faculty as pay and perks are not comparable to other sectors. This is one of the challenge, but things are changing. I find things have improved a lot. Many universities have come, good universities have come. They are offering good package, but it needs to be common for each and every standalone institutions also. And the upgradation and adaptation to new technology, which I talked about just before it, Like we need to have certain innovation centers, incubations, all these things in our hospitality educational institutions also, which we lack. We will find in engineering college, medical college, we have things like that way, but we are still not trying to upgrade ourselves towards that thought process. There is an opportunity to establish a hospitality program at the bachelor's level that could be supported in collaboration with international institutions, because it will help us to understand the implementation of NEP in an easy way with them, because already they are practicing something similar to it. The public awareness is very much important for about the prestige of employment in our hospitality industry. This is not related to my NEP 2020 and hospitality education, but it is coming out of my heart. We all need to work in. Let's stop criticizing our industry. Let's promote it. Otherwise, we ourselves will be one of the we will be lost. Will not be there. So better we should understand. We should have the dignity of our sector, and we must have that pride feeling for which sector we are working for. This is going to help us to get more and more quality students. Otherwise, we will be what we are there since last 30 to 40 years. uh, I'd like to extend my thanks